Hey guys, happy Valentine's Day. In this video I'd like to talk about being the only guitarist in the band. If you have a bass player, a drummer, and a singer, how do you choose the notes to sound big if you're the only other instrument player besides the bass player? So in this video I will concentrate on single notes and choosing those notes to have as much harmonic content as possible. First of all, I'd like to explain that you never hear a single note. If you hear a single note without any overtones, it's not a musical sound by definition. An opera singer, a great trumpet player, their sound is lush and rich because their sound is full of what's called overtones. Overtones are best explained as other sounds, other notes that are mixed in together to make that one rich kind of a chord. And you can, if you ever played a drawbar organ like a Hammond or anything like that, where you can pull out different drawbars and you can shape the way the note sounds, those are essentially overtones. You're manipulating those overtones. To explain how overtones work, you can just use the natural harmonics as an example. So if I'm playing a single note, you don't hear just that note. You're also hearing this and this and this and this and this and that, and the amount of those different overtones sort of creates the tonal characteristics of your instrument or your voice or whatever. The proportions of those different overtones is how you can tell different voices apart. The point I'm trying to make is that a single note can have a lot of importance if you choose it wisely. And if you're playing with distortion, those harmonics are amplified so that even though you're playing a single note, it sounds like there's more to it than that. So the easiest thing to do if you are in a band that only has guitar, bass, and drums, and maybe a singer, and you want to play some leads, is to play unison. You can play unison if the guitar player and the bass player are playing the same position together, and that will automatically be one octave apart because the bass guitar is tuned exactly an octave lower than your guitar. So if you're playing on the same E string, 3rd fret, you will be automatically one octave apart. Sometimes you can play it on the guitar 1 octave higher. Sometimes the bass guitar can play it an octave higher, and then you'll actually be playing the same exact note, you and the bass player, but the bass just has more low frequencies and more lower harmonics that it will sound lower even though it's the same note. So you can play unison notes. You can play the same notes 1 octave apart, 2 octaves apart, whatever. You can also play power chords, the same notes as the bass player is playing. And the earliest example that I'm aware of where the guitar player and the bass player are playing similar notes is Day Tripper by the Beatles. It sounds something like this. Then there's Iron Man, where it switches between power chords and single notes. The single notes, when Ozzy Osbourne starts singing, sounds like this. is Beat It by Michael Jackson. Then there's another one, Bites the Dust, where the guitar is playing actually 2 octaves above what the bass player is playing. Then there's Led Zeppelin's Heartbreaker, where it's same notes, I mean same position, guitar and bass, but there are occasional chords that that sort of emphasize the key of the song. So instead of it's so many songs that have unison. Okay, so that's that. The next thing I'd like to talk about is dissonance. Jimi Hendrix's Purple Haze has that. The bass player is playing, and the guitar player being Jimmy, of course, is playing. So together it forms this really dissonant, diminished fifth sound, and it sounds really nice and massive, actually, surprisingly for its time. So it sounds like this. Harmonize if the bass is playing in the higher octave and you're playing in the lower octave. Like that. Did I forget anything? Yeah, that's pretty much it. The power of a single note is amazing. In the next episode I'll elaborate some more on the various things that are now cliches, like, you know, or things like that, but that will be left for the next video. Thanks. Bye, guys.